Session 3, focus pyramid. So half the battle is knowing what to focus on in your online fitness business. And I want to go and fix that now during this short training. Now, as we go through this training, there's going to be a download that you can have access to if you want to. It's called our Daily Rounds Planner. If you want a copy of that, I'm going to go through it towards the end of this, but if you want a copy of that, make sure you comment below this and just say planner. If you do that, we'll send it over to you. Myself or Joe will send it over to you ASAP. You can get a copy of it and use that as part of this training. So, focus pyramid, session 3. So where should your focus be? Now, most new online personal trainers and coaches tend to focus on the wrong areas of their business. I want to fix that today. But first, we need to remember that we are not coaches or trainers anymore. We are business owners. So the areas we need to focus on are related to the business. And I actually think this is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make. They first go online, they go, right, I need to have a huge exercise library. I've got to go and film these exercises. I need to have the perfect branded app for doing it. I need to have all my nutrition stuff together. I need to have all my meal plans. I need to have everything in place for it all. Or I need to get better at doing this particular thing. I need to become a coach doing this. I need to be better a kickboxing trainer, or I need to be a kettlebell coach, or I need to go and do this level 24 qualification somewhere. Like, all these things are great and all these things do play a part at some point, but when it comes to your online fitness business, it doesn't matter. Things like going to film all those exercises are not going to make a difference to your bottom line. They're not going to make a difference to the number of sales that you make, because people are not buying your program because you're on an exercise video. They're not. They're buying it for a result. So that kind of stuff doesn't really matter at this stage. It can become more important further down the line, but for now, it doesn't matter. Don't focus your time on that. Likewise, for doing other kind of qualifications within, becoming a better coach at, whatever skill sets you want to do. Yes, I get you have to go and do CPD, continue personal development. Of course you do. And one of the things you can use if you want help with your CPD is our online personal training certification that can be used towards your CPD points. But what is not that important is becoming a kettlebell coach, for example, or doing another level within your qualification metrics that you've got now, because that itself won't make you more successful online. And in reality, for the types of people that most people coach online, it's not going to make a difference to their results as well. If you can get results for people now in person, then you can get results for people online. By having other qualifications, fitness-related qualifications, it's going to make zero difference to the results because you're getting the results already. It's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make people more likely to choose you over somebody else. The majority of people don't do that level of research. They just don't. What they do is they go through a process where they get to know, like, and trust you. And that process is all about business skills. It's all about your ability to build relationships, to have systems that understand the numbers. So we need to spend time focused on the business side of things first, not worry about the actual training side of it. We don't have to worry about the videos, do anything else like that. It doesn't matter at this stage. So when you're first on as an online trainer, just remember this. You are not an online personal trainer. You are a business owner who is delivering online personal training services. That's the important thing to remember. And the quicker you can understand that, and the quicker you can start approaching everything you do within your business with that mindset, the quicker you're going to progress and the quicker you're going to have a more successful online fitness business. So let's dig into this next bit. Let's look at this focus pyramid. Now, again, you may have seen me share this before. This is our focus pyramid. You can see it's split into kind of 7 main parts. Right at the bottom, we have you. And then we have sales and marketing on the next level. We then have products, lead gen, team and ops, range, finance, and a big tick once they're all in place at the top. Now, in reality, you need to have a handle on all of these things in your business, every single one of them. They always say as a business owner, you wear lots of hats, and you do. Even as your business progresses and you have less roles to do within the business, you still have to have a handle on all these things. You need to know roughly what's going on in each area, or at least have the data to help you understand that your business is progressing in the right area, the right direction. But we're just starting out here. So let's just assume we're just starting out as an online coach, online trainer. We need to start building up this pyramid here to the top. And you can see here the biggest one at the bottom is the foundation. And that foundation is you. So everything starts with you. You need to understand about what your goals are, what your ambitions are, what you actually want from life before you can decide on any of these other things at the top. Otherwise, what you're doing is just building a skyscraper without any foundations. And theoretically, you can build a huge skyscraper without foundations. As long as the weather is good, as long as there's no earthquakes, there's no movement in the ground, everything is perfect all the time. But unfortunately, as we know in life, nothing is perfect all the time. Almost every day there's a gust, there's a wind, there's a movement. Exactly the same in business here. You could build it up for a while and you could do well. Even for a couple of years, you could do well. But as soon as something goes a little bit wrong, the whole thing is going to topple over because you don't have the foundations in place. So it's important that we start building these foundations and building a pyramid, which means it can take a battering from every single angle. Just think how long the pyramids have been around over in Giza and in Egypt. Like, they've been there for a crazy amount of time. And that's because they're built in a way that's designed to be sustainable. It will last for a long time. And that's what we want to do with your business. So it starts with you. Next is going to be sales and marketing. We get that nailed in. Then we get the product, not products, product. Not saying plural here. We focus on one main product first and selling that. Then we look at lead generation. Then we look at team and ops. So your team and operations and systemizing all this stuff down here. Then we start looking at range. Once we have all this stuff in place here, then we might look at the range of products and services that you might offer. Because until you've got this stuff nailed, this stuff, you can't expand out. If you take the likes of Amazon, for example, when Amazon first started, they focused on selling books and they got really, really good at selling books online. And it wasn't until they were making millions from selling books online that they actually started asking their audience, what other things would you like? And that's how it started to grow into this now. In fact, every major successful business that you've probably heard of focused on doing one thing first and then started growing out into doing more things later on once they got the systems and processes and stuff in place. That's the way to go and do it. Don't do it the other way around. Then the finance side of it. At this point here, you can look at how you can use your finances more effectively within your business because you're making more revenue in there. You can start making those profits work for you more. You can start looking at investing in other areas as well. So this is the kind of pyramid, the approach you want to be taking. Now, this is very vague what I'm about to talk about here. You can see we have less income, an income line, and more income at the top. And I've just put some numbers on here as an example. I'm not saying you have to go and do this. It's just to give us an example about where you might be focusing your time depending on what your income is. Now, this income is going to vary from business to business. Of course it is, because you can have different goals, different ambitions, different overheads, all sorts of different things. So it is literally just going to be a guide. But generally speaking, just know towards the bottom, when you have less income, you're going to spend more time down here. As you create more income, you're going to spend more of your time up on these top levels of the pyramid, if you like. So let's talk about the lower end. I'm going to use this, and I'm not saying lower end is bad at all. I'm just going to say this is a less on the income curve. So let's say you're earning maybe £10,000, $10,000 a month or less. Let's say you're doing roughly around that amount. This could be pushed to 15 maybe, but let's say it's around the £10,000 mark. When you're doing that, where you should be focused is down here. It's on you and understanding what you actually want from things. Then it's on the sales and marketing. Really nail down how you're going to market your service and understand how to actually go and sell it. Then you're going to start looking at the product and get the product exactly how you want it to be. So it becomes something that is scalable. This is where 80% of your time should be. It shouldn't be on lead generation. It shouldn't be on team and operations. It shouldn't be on looking at new services doing. It shouldn't be on looking at where to reinvest your finances too much. Yes, you are going to spend some time on this, 10% on this, 10% on this, but 80% of your time should be down here. You might be thinking, well, surely marketing and lead generation is different, is the same. It's not. It's actually a different thing. And I think a lot of people get that confused. Lead generation, of course, is important and you should be spending some time on it. But most of it at this stage is going to be around your marketing. It's going to be around your message, and it's going to be around what's called inbound marketing. It's going to be about bringing leads into you. We don't have to do any kind of outbound or active lead generation at this stage. I really don't think you need to, or at least not spend too much time on it anyway. So this is where you're going to be starting off with if you're around this kind of figure. Next up, as you start to increase your income, let's say somewhere between the 10 and 30k mark, this is actually quite a difficult place to be for a business. It really is, because it's kind of on the edge. You normally having to have more expenses because you need to start looking at running the business, so you need to have better systems in place. And you'll probably find that your profit margins can come down. It feels a bit more like a hustle because you're spending a lot of time managing, sorting stuff out, tidying up systems and so on. And really, it's not until you kind of push past that mark, it becomes a little bit easier, I would say, to manage. So if we look down here, when you get to this mark, probably 80% of your time is going to be around lead generation, managing teams, and putting in the operation and systems, or I should say the system, to help you be successful. So that's where a lot of your time is going to be. 10% of it then will be around doing a bit of work on you. They'll be doing some work around sales and marketing and the product. And the reason this has gone down to 10% is because theoretically at this point, you're going to have a team and you're going to have systems and operations to help you. So that product will be running almost on autopilot or on semi-autopilot, because hopefully if you use the OPTC, you've used the Academy, or maybe our Done For You service, and we've set up a product that takes care of itself, and then you can just tweak and adapt and adjust stuff. So you don't spend a lot of time coaching clients on that one. Your sales and marketing should be pretty much on autopilot at this point. You should have a really good sales system in place. You should be able to convert a good number of leads. You should have a good marketing process in place. So you're not spending too much time on it. You may have other people helping you with this as well. So a lot of your times now will be on lead generation operations. Next bit up here is when you start pushing past, say, the 30k mark. Again, it's just an example. It's just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Once you get past that point, again, 10% of your time is probably spent on these areas, because you're going to have team of people helping you. You're going to have people managing people within your team as well. You can have really solid ops, really solid systems in place to help manage all these different areas. And then 8% of your time is going to be looking at the range of the business. What does you actually want to do with the business? Where do you want to guide it to? Where do you want to direct it to next? And also looking at the financing side. Where can you reinvest? Where can you best use the finance in the business to take it to that next level? And that's what tends to happen when you're actually building and developing business over time. But here's the problem. Most people, when they first start out, go to this bit. They go, I'm going to have a range of different products. They might go and go do nutrition, I'm going to do workouts, I'm going to do both. Really bad idea, by the way, to do that. I'll explain why in a minute. Or they're going to have 3 tiers. I'm going to have the tier of this version. I'm going to have an automated version, a semi-automated, a one-to-one version. I get it. I get where this 3-tier thing comes from. And in some businesses, it works. And it can work with an online fitness business depending on how you built your business up. But the way to build your business to the point where these tier systems work is difficult. It takes a long time, and it worked really well maybe 5 years ago. These days, doesn't work as well. It's much more difficult to do. It's possible, but it's much more difficult to do. And I think a lot of people come in and try and do those different things. And the biggest issue with that is, 1, you're not really standing out. 2, you're giving too many options to your clients. And unless you've had a way of nurturing those clients beforehand, which is what your sales and marketing does, when they get to that range, they don't know what decision to make. The reason they don't know what decision to make is because they come to you because you're the expert. You're the expert in solving a problem that they've got, and you're now giving them options. How would you feel if you went to a surgeon or a doctor? Let's say you went to a doctor and you had something wrong with you, and you said, well, actually, you could have this one, or this one. You know, this tablet, or this tablet. Which one do you want? And you'd be like, I've no idea. Like, you're the expert. You tell me. I need to trust you. You're going to give me the right thing. That's what they're coming through to you. And if you give them these options, you're actually reducing the trust level. And I'm sure you've all heard before the know, like, and trust, the 3 important things you need from people. If you start reducing that trust at the last minute, it's going to make it harder for them to make a decision. They're going to go away and think about it, and there's somebody that is better at the sales and marketing side, but maybe have a subpar product compared to you, is going to get the sale, because they're going to go straight in, tackle their problem head on, give them the one solution they need, and that's where they're going to put their money, and not with you. So don't go for range at this stage. Sometimes it's not looking at teams operations. Teams operations is not just about people, it's about software as well. So they start looking for this amazing software for this. They look at VAs to do certain stuff. These things are important, but they don't matter. They spend a lot of time on getting these things in place. I need to have the perfect delivery system. I need to have the perfect team management system. I need to have the perfect software for this. Everything needs to be mine. Don't worry about that stuff at this stage. It doesn't matter, because you're trying to build a team. You're trying to build operations and systems on running these things down here, the product, the sales, the marketing, and you. You don't know what they are yet because you don't have those foundations in place. Next up is lead generation. Everyone goes straight into lead generation because it sounds, it sounds sexy. It sounds amazing. It sounds like this is the thing you need to do because Every single ad you see is lead generation, lead generation, lead generation. Every single business mentor you see, lead generation, because you think you need more leads. If you are a personal trainer and you're now becoming an online personal trainer, I promise you, you already have an abundance of leads sat there waiting for you. I promise you that. You probably just don't know how to find them. And I can guarantee that you will be able to get a good few £1,000s from your existing leads without even really putting too much effort into it. That's exactly what our Online Cash Injector course does. It helps you get money out of those existing leads you've already got. So you don't need to worry too much about lead generation to get started with. What you need to do is focus on your message, the marketing, and your sales processes. Get those right. Because if you don't have the right message, you don't have the right marketing, and you don't have the right sales, then you can bring leads in if you want to. But if you can't follow up with them, and if you can't actually convert them into paying clients, it's an absolute waste of time and money. And I see that happen time and time and time again. There's people say to me, I've had to switch off my lead generation because I can't handle it all. If you're in a position where you have to switch off your lead generation because you can't handle it all, then you've gone about it wrong. I'm sorry, but you have. That is not something to brag about. That is actually having poor business systems in place. If you've had good planning in place, and you've got the right sales processes in place, the right marketing stuff in place, and you thought about what you want for your business, and you've got the right product in place, lead generation, you should never have to switch off. You shouldn't have to. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry, but it's just true. And this is where I think most people focus on first. And what tends to happen is sometimes they'll get a good peak in their business for the first few years, and then it dips down and it drops, and then they get burnout and everything falls apart, and then they go and do something else. That pretty much happens a lot. And I think that's because they don't have the foundations in place, and that's why it's important to work on these bits first down here. This, down here at the bottom, is where you need to focus on first when it comes to developing, building, launching and growing a successful long-term online fitness business. And unless you have these nailed, I wouldn't worry about spending too much time on this up here. So focus on you, focus on the sales and marketing, focus on the product first, then start building up the rest of this stuff up here, up at the top. So that's where your focus should be in the early days of your business. Now, if you need help with getting the right systems in place, again, just comment download below this video, and then I'll send you over the daily rounds planner. This daily rounds planner, break on the screen, looks a little bit like this, and it has all the different things you can do every single day. There's some very basic systems to actually nail down these first sections that we're talking about here, about nailing this down here. And I want to help you do that, and that daily planner should help you do that as well. It's got some training in there. It's got a little video to get you started with. It shows you how to set it all up. If you want a copy of that daily planner, then all you got to do is comment download below, and I'll get it over to you ASAP. Okay, and as always, whilst I'm here with you, if you want some help and support with all of this, actually getting all those systems in this pyramid set up, actually having the right systems in place for you to understand exactly what your goals and ambitions are for your business, and planning for those, about how to actually go and set up the sales and marketing, how to have the right product in place and do all this in record time, and then actually look at things like lead generation, teams and operations and systems, then how to actually manage a range of products and the finances. We do all that over in the Academy. And if you want to come and join us over in the Academy, you get all the support, coaching and a community all in one place. And just remember, you're not alone with Peter Ninja over in the Academy. You can join today for as little as £97. Little as £97 if you want to come and join. To find out more about that, head over to peterninja.com/academy. Anyway, that's it from me on this training. I hope that's been helpful. As always, any questions, please do let me know in the comments. And don't forget to type download, get a copy of your daily planner that goes along with this training.